nice and slow.
That is the man, the legend himself, Mr. Jimmy Parrish. And,
I love that song.
I know,
man,
it sounds awesome.
Sounds pretty cool, man. How you doing, brother?
Good morning, Danny. Thanks for having me on the show this morning. I always think how freezing cold I am down here, but I ain't in Tennessee. So
I mean, what the hell is it in Jacksonville? Is it probably 50 degrees?
Man, it got down about 29 last night.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Holy crap, man. Holy crap. That is cold for you guys.
Yeah, yes it is.
Well, we wanted to, we didn't want to get out of the month without, you are the Beach Buddha Coffee Artist of the Month, and well deserved, of course. And we didn't want to get out of the month without at least acknowledging that. So if you haven't got your Beach Buddha coffee by now, you probably will. And
I have.
man, I'll tell you, we love it.
Well, I'm sporting today. This is my second favorite coffee mug.
Ah, there you go, man. There you go.
I think that if Beach Buddha were tuning in right now, he would probably say, I know what better be your first favorite coffee mug right now, so I'm sporting this one.
Ah, there you go. There you go.
Celebrating the Artist of the Month. This is probably backwards to you guys.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's well, Jimmy's a professional, and you got to take care of your sponsors, man.
Yes, you do. Very much so.
The money's right, baby.
Well, you know what? Yeah, I know you've been under the weather, man. How you feeling?
A lot better. After 2 years, I want to do a salute this morning to all the people out there who went nearly 2 years in coronavirus free and COVID free. And man, I just got tested positive last Tuesday. And
oh, wow.
How did we go this long?
Yeah.
Be around so many people and go through so much. Even went on some vacations and did some touring and was gone for a long time. And bam, I go on one little hunting trip last week and come back, and my brother and I both came back and tested positive. I'm going, how did this happen?
Yeah, it's really strange. We went down to Key West, and when I got back, I started feeling pretty rough the last couple of days, but you know how it is. We're down there, we're all just working like crazy, and so our new gig there at Dirty Harry's was just a blast, and I thought maybe I was just wearing down a little bit. But when I got back, man, I was sick for about 7 weeks, and at that point in time, you couldn't even get tested. They didn't have any tests and all this stuff, and I'm pretty sure I had pneumonia there for a couple of weeks.
Wow.
During that time. That's the sickest I've ever been.
Is that, and this was this past year or 2020?
No, this past year. Yeah.
Not that long ago, really.
Yeah, no, he was, Jimmy, he was sick for 8 weeks solid.
That's a hippie chick. She got to say hi to you.
Well,
hey,
of course.
buddy.
I hear that.
How you doing?
Speaking to you, huh?
Yeah, I'm still speaking to him.
You're still worthy.
You've been hanging out for a while now. That's impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Danny's track record.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
you're starting to break up, man. You're starting to break up.
Man.
I sent him a picture. First of all, there's several pictures of you here hanging in the chocolate bar, but I sent him one over by the pub table. It was me and him. We had two big old
I know that
mugs
picture.
of beer, and I'm
Yeah.
like, it's about time we get your ass back to the chocolate bar.
definitely, yeah.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I said it before earlier today, but I was like, Jimmy Parrish was the very first Trop Rock artist that I have ever,
That's what you said, yeah.
I didn't even know all this existed.
Well, yeah.
And I was so impressed. I came in a little when his show started, and I was just like, wow, what is this? This is awesome.
It's an awesome genre of music. I got introduced to it a little over 10 years ago being a parrot head, and it's definitely a great lifestyle.
And yet, I've always described Jimmy as in a class of his own.
He really
right?
is.
I
He's
always
definitely
thought,
not Trop Rock.
I've never really. He plays all of that music, but I've always felt like over the years, he kind of just flew under the radar and did his own thing. Played all the festivals, played music on the Bay, had his own gig down in Key West, did his thing, carved out his piece of paradise,
That's
if you will.
very true.
While everybody else was running around trying to figure it all out, I've always felt like Jimmy was in a class of his own.
Well, it started years ago. It started with me. I never knew anything about getting outside of my region of Northeast Florida until Sonny Jim in the mid 2000s. He suggested to me two things. He says, number one, you got to not only write, but you got to put out your own original material. You got to get it out there. And at that time, there was no such thing as internet radio stations.
Oh no!
And then he said the second thing is, as hard as it may be, you got to go. You got to get outside of town and play to these parrot head clubs. And then what happened? There's this guy. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him, but he's been out of the parrot head limelight for a lot of years. But they called him the old parrot head. I don't know if any of you guys know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
His name is Billy Peoples,
yeah,
and he's moved up north. But he told me years ago, and this is probably the number one piece of advice he ever gave me, was that he said, there's this event called Meeting of the Minds, and just because you think that you need to go down there and take a paying gig, you're absolutely wrong. He says, don't book a gig down there because you're going to have a hard time doing it. There's just not that many places to play. Don't get discouraged. Just find somebody that will be kind enough to let you lay your head on their pillow and just go down and experience and be a part of it and immerse yourself in some of these songwriter events. Mm-hmm. And that right there in 2008 was the best advice I ever got. So that's where it really started for me, was in 08, getting down there and sitting around people like the Sonny Jims and the Jim Morrises and the Kelly McGuires. And I had one CD in hand at the time, and that was called "Let's Go Fishing," and sold a lot of those CDs. You know, walking right down the street. And so I don't know why I got off on a tangent like this, but I was just kind of give you an idea of kind of how and where it started for me in this particular genre years ago.
Yeah, you know, and at that particular time, Hugo was, he was there at Hog's Breath and doing his thing. And I mean, what a perfect time that was, though, for, you had the Jim Morrises and the Hugos and all this going on. And here comes Jimmy Parrish with one CD. And all of these artists that have followed behind you, I've given them the same advice. Listen, when you go down to Meeting of the Minds, it's really kind of like a meet and greet, man. You need to learn who these people are. You need to put the faces with the names, and don't worry, you're probably going to get up on stage. Somebody's going to pull you up on stage or something during this time. Just go down and have a good time that first time. Boomer Blake, Danny Rosato, a lot of the artists that have come along, that's the same advice that I gave them. And they go down there, they make all these contacts. Next thing you know, next year they come back, they've got shows all over the place.
Yeah, and that's the way it works. That's the advice I would give to anybody that wants to do that. That you just got to get down to Key West, Florida. You're not going to go make money, so don't plan to spend money, and find somebody that's kind enough to put you up.
I know that's right. That's the key to the whole ball game. There is, we're fortunate to be able to stay with B-Man and Michelle and CK and all those guys. Whenever we go down, but yeah, you don't go down there thinking you're going to make any money, but you have to be there. You have to be visible. You have to be in the middle of everything, and that's a big deal, man. It really is. And I'm so glad that you've carved out the Hog's Breath thing. We were talking about it earlier in the show. We arrange, and I know a lot of people do this, we arrange our travel and everything to make sure that we at least make it over there to say hi to you one night before our gig starts, and then we're jam-packed over there. But a lot of people do that, and after everything has happened during the daytime, they're all going to Hog's Breath, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and lately in the past probably 3 years, the musicians come in and play through our breaks, which is pretty awesome to be honest with you, because you know the old rule in Key West: if you take a break, people are going to take off and go to the next bar.
That's right.
Want to hear their live music. So starting about 3 years ago now we just have some of these songwriters. I guess my point is, folks, they come to Hog's Breath, you're going to see all your favorite Trop Rock musicians come in late night just to wind down, and then have the drinks and come up and play as well. So man, that's the place where everybody ends up. So we're happy to be locked in again for 2022.
Yeah,
pretty fortunate, to have that gig, and I hope we can keep doing it.
I was having so much fun watching Emily Randall and Bob Banji up there with you this year, and that's another thing. You got people that come in, with harmonicas and fiddles and all kinds of things, and they become part of the band, and it's like that's why people love going there, because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Hey, are you guys back? Are y'all going to be at Rick's again?
Oh, yeah.
I guess you could say this year now, finally.
Yeah,
we're already planning it and getting it. It takes us a year to plan that thing, and we're definitely we're going to change it up a little bit this year, but we're definitely going to be back. It'll be our 6th year doing that. It's really cool. I mean, it's a whole lot more room at Rick's than it was over at the Tiki House. We love the Tiki House, but we outgrew it. And Rick's and Dirty Harry's and that whole group we're very fortunate they wanted to be a part of what Brian and I do.
You're like me, man. Every year you just tweak it just a little bit and just kind of fine tune it. And every year that goes by, things just get just a little bit bigger and better, So
yeah.
Yeah, I remember when you guys started out, man. You were kind enough to have me. In fact, I think you invite me every year.
You're always invited, but Jimmy, he puts on such a good show. I've got everybody here in the studio with me. But you also got to pace yourself. You got to pace your voice and everything like that.
Right.
So some of these guys are playing all over the island and doing stuff. But how many hours do you play there at Hog's Breath altogether a night?
4 hours a night, 7 nights. Sunday,
oh wow!
Monday through Sunday.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot.
That is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to pace yourself.
Yeah, and I do all the singing, so it makes it really tough. I'm like, look around at every set to the band, and you guys want to do some more instrumental?
Yeah. Karen Lee, why don't you try to get up here and say, no, never mind. But
speaking of, go ahead, Dan.
I was going to say one of the things that I really thought was a really cool deal was when that last album came out, and you guys went all the way to California, and back came through here to the Chocolate Bar, and went all the way there, and that doing those house concerts, man, that was maybe one of these days you'll be able to get that put together again. Yeah,
definitely. That's real kind of crucial. You got to get out. The guys like the Tom Shepherds and the Mike Nashes of the world, they've got it figured out. If you want to really promote your music, and I'm not really going to say promote, but I'm going to say if you want to get folks listening to your music, you got to get out and do these house concerts, and they're the world's best. They learn how to make a living traveling around the country playing house concerts. Unfortunately, I've been playing here in our region so long that I've got these commitments that I can't break away for a long time. So what did we do? We decided a few years ago to take off usually in the winter months in February, and that makes a whole lot of sense, doesn't it? Trudging through snowy mountains and ice to go do a house concert. It's just not terribly smart, but it's the only really. In fact, you recall that's when we came through your area, and you told me the same thing. Everybody does. Jimmy, you really need to come here in the summertime. It's a whole lot nicer.
It's true.
I know, man. You're right.
Yeah, well, and I know you got permanent gigs and all that stuff, but, I would like to talk to you about coming up here playing the summer party at some point in time or another in July, We'll work out all the details, but I know that's usually whenever you're going out to, I don't know, where you go now, Belize or wherever, with your trip, right?
Yeah, I think, Danny, this year, I think I'm going to ask if I can pay you to come.
Hey,
it's been that kind of year, brother.
Yeah, have radio will travel.
Yeah. Hey, I was thinking also, I fully planned on playing a song for you guys today, but considering the weather, I went over and looked at a couple of my guitars, and they looked at me like an old hound dog. When it's freezing cold, you look at the dog and say, "Come here, boy," and they just look at you.
Yeah, like, no, not today.
Not doing it.
I think so. I'm fine right here. So those guitars didn't want anything to do with me this morning, man.
Yeah, that's all right, brother. We got plenty of your music. We played. I love that song. I Need a New Island. I absolutely love that song. And I know the backstory behind it and why you wrote it and all that stuff. And it's really cool. We've told it several times, but that's one of my favorites. That can fit into anything, really. It doesn't have to be an island. It can be just about anything. I need a new something, whatever. But you working on any new music?
Man, I actually am not. We just built a new house last year and moved in October. And I've actually taken a good bit of time off this winter and really getting geared up for March 1. And one of the things that we're doing to the new house is a dedicated music studio, which is something that I've never had, I'm sorry to say. And that's going to really open up a whole bunch of inspiration. In fact, let me rephrase that. The inspiration is done in there. I've got enough material on paper for 2 or 3 albums, and it's kind of all ready to go. But I think a lot of musicians, a lot of songwriters will tell you that's kind of the easiest part, dreaming up the ideas and thoughts and songwriting ideas and what you're going to come up with is kind of the easy part.
Yeah.
And the hard part is really putting that pencil to the paper and finishing phase 2. And that's kind of where I'm at. I've got the material ready to rock, and I've got some really great song ideas. It's just a matter of writing them. So, you know, we can always come up with 1,000 ideas or 1,000 other things that we would kind of rather do. Because for me, I'm not the Jim Morris of the songwriting business. I don't just have a concept and then press that pause button and go somewhere and write a song, you know, like Sting did, writing Every Breath You Take in the back of a taxi cab in 9 minutes, you know, that sort of thing. I don't really have that gift. It takes a lot of time and effort and thought.
Yeah.
So I guess long story short, I'm getting geared up, getting prepared, and it's not going to be long until we move forward with it'll be our 4th album. So
yeah,
wow.
Well, congratulations on the new house and everything else you got going on. I know having that dedicated studio is big for you. That's going to change up the game for you. And now, when you write, do you write the song or do you write the music first? How do you go about doing it?
With me, it starts. That's a great question. With me, it starts with it's musical poetry is what I actually call it. I stand by that because to me it's a poem that you write, and you start with the lyrics and ideas, and then that lends itself to the music. The music naturally comes. Like for example, if I'm in the process of writing a song, it's gonna kind of rear its head out as far as, is it going to be a ballad? Is it going to be a peppy song? Is it going to be a reggae-ish? The genre pops out itself as well. So the music kind of just comes to me a lot more easily than the lyrics. But in the end, first and foremost, it's the lyrics. Again, musical poetry. Then after that, it actually gets easier from there, and then the music comes afterwards.
Yeah.
So I'll know before I start writing a song. As I'm writing it, I'm going to know real quick if it's going to be ballady, if it's going to be slow tempo wise, if it's going to be an upbeat party song.
Yeah.
I got some pretty cool ideas, and I'm pretty excited about moving forward on the songwriting.
Well, that's where the real talent comes into play. It's a God-given gift that you have that. And it's interesting because a lot of artists, they write the words and then they try to put the music to it, but it's really cool to be able to just come up with the music and have that ballad, or have that, you're in a reggae mood or you're in a party mood or whatever, and and then it comes to you with the way the music is flowing. So that's really cool, man.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and tell you, I haven't told a lot of people this, but for the first time ever, let me back up. In the past, I've always used our band, The Waves, as our studio musicians. Number one, it's a whole lot more efficient and a whole lot cheaper.
Sure.
To do it that way. You don't have to pay the full wages of the Nashville guys, and we've always done that. It started out the Ocean Waves band, then it started out Jimmy Parrish and the Ocean Waves band, and then we just dropped after Katrina and the Waves.
Right.
After I fully confirmed, even through inquiries through attorneys and everything, that there was no more Katrina and the Waves. There was no entity or whatever. We changed our name to Jimmy Parrish and the Waves. But throughout all of those years, we always used our band musicians, which I'm so grateful for that.
Sure.
But anyway, this year or this next album coming up, I'm going to use the formula that a lot of these solo Trop Rock musicians have used, and I'm going to make an effort to get up to the Music City Capitol and hire a bona fide music studio with session players and allow them to get more involved, and not so much. We've always done things, my way and recorded music the way that I wanted to record it. But I'm going to let some of these talented producers in Nashville really lend their talents as well. And maybe it's time that they said, Jimmy, that sounds great and all, but here's what I think might sound a little bit better. And that's something that I haven't really had before, but it'll be a really cool experiment. So I'm looking forward to that.
I think that's very important. I think that's probably one of the biggest decisions musically you've ever made, really. I mean, is because you're kind of the captain of the ship, and the musicians, they're there. They're obviously a big part of what you do, but they're always kind of going after what thought process that you're doing. Maybe they'll say, well, I think I can put a riff here, I can do this or that or whatever. But having an outside influence is always good to learn something. I know Howard Livingston, that's what he does. He goes to Nashville, and works in the studio for a week or two and kind of perfected it. And it's a different thing, because it's, you're kind of like giving here's keep my child for the day or whatever, kind of thing. But at the same time, I think that's a big decision, man, and I think it'll pay off for you. I believe you'll come out of it better and smarter, or either way, you're going to learn something out of it, whether you like it or you don't,
Yeah, I'm convinced it'll definitely have more of a commercial sound to it, and I don't mean that in a good way or a bad way. It's just that pretty much if you listen to our albums, all the things that you hear, it's we pretty much ironed out all those parts and pieces on stages, wherever we were playing. We worked through those songs together as a band. So I always say, if you listen to our songs live, you're pretty much going to hear exactly the way that they were recorded in the studio. Yeah. And so this time it's going to be the other way around. You go record an album with real talented producers and musicians in Nashville, then you come back and hand it over to the band and say, all right, guys, learn this, and we're hitting the road. And I think that's going to be pretty cool. So I'm personally going to learn a lot. It's going to be a big step.
Yeah, and I would like to see, sometime, while we have this opportunity to, have a live CD from Hog's Breath or something like that, at some point in time or another. I think that would be really cool because, life changes, things change, opportunities are there for a certain period of time, and just something you might want to think about while you got that crowd rocking down there, to have a, Jimmy Parrish live from Hog's Breath and Key West CD somewhere in the future.
Oh, I know. I think that's a fantastic idea. Hey, that reminds me. I got do you mind if I plug?
Sure.
Gig. The folks at Fins to the West out there in Nevada, they're always on me. Jimmy, bring some of your Florida people to Nevada, to Fins to the West, or not so much Florida, but the whole East Coast. And this will be our either third or fourth visit out there this coming June. We're going to headline the Saturday night at Fins to the West, and that's going to be the weekend of June 11th this year. But I just wanted to let the folks on the eastern part of the country know, if you've never been to Fins to the West, it's one of the coolest, most fun events that we have done. And the main reason is because it's out in the middle of the desert in Nevada, and it's something that Florida people and East Coast people just don't get the opportunity to do too often. And it's cool. It's a cool event. They've got a huge, big music amphitheater inside the casino. It's at the Casablanca Resort in Mesquite, Nevada. Direct flights into Las Vegas are not expensive.
No.
It's kind of turnkey, and the rates are really good for the event itself. And so I just wanted to let the folks out there know, if you're looking for a cool event in the early part of the summer, the second week of June, Fins to the West, Mesquite, Nevada, baby.
There you go, man.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you taking some time. I know you've been feeling under weather, and, we love you like a brother. If you're flowing through town on the way to Nashville, you need a place to stay, you're always welcome here. And you can go over to TikiManRadio.com and click on the Beach Buddha Artist of the Month, and it'll give you a whole bio of everything and where you can find Jimmy's music and all that good stuff. And it's just good seeing you, man.
Well, I will tell you, 2022 will not be complete unless I'm able to slip on site a pair of those magical Tiki Man earphones and be a part of your show, man.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go, man. We'd love to have you back up here. You know, since you were here, you know, I built a whole new studio and everything, you know. So, yeah, we got to get some pictures of Jimmy Parrish in the studio. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, man.
Accepted, brother.
All right, brother. We're gonna let you fly. We've got Tyler Chef coming up next, and but man, thank you so much. And we're gonna go away with "I Like Chicken," which that's another rockin' song. There you go.
I love it.
There you go, brother. Take it easy, man.
Enjoy it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, brother.